Welcome to Embracing the Cocoon, a conversation about transformation, solitude, and the rebirth of self. Um, I really wanted to take the time to do this conversation today because it's one of the things that comes up most with my clients and generally people that I speak to go through this awakening and connecting to soul consciousness process. There seems to be a fear of not really knowing how to step into this space, to honor themselves, and to really connect. There's a sense of fear around being alone, and it feels like some sort of punishment, like you're going into solitary confinement, but that's not the case at all. It's a really beautiful space. It's you committing to creating this little home for yourself where you're able to take the time and create safety and create trust and reconnect to yourself, to build a relationship with yourself that really works. And it's only in this solitude, in this cocoon that we create, that we're really able to truly see ourselves outside of the noise of society and what other people tell us we are or what we should be. So I'm going to take you through some exercises and give you some tools that you can use to gently step into the space of the cocoon, so that you can really start the healing journey or continue your healing journey. And I don't see it as like a punishment. It's not solitary confinement. You're not being asked to separate yourself off. And it's not a space of being lonely. It's really something to get used to so that you can actually go into that space whenever you want. It could be a space within you as well as being a space that you create around you. But it's just somewhere where you can be, where you're able to connect to yourself and feel into your energy and understand what you really want and need. And if we look at like of the butterfly and the caterpillar, when it's ready to transform, hangs from a tree and builds this beautiful silk cocoon for itself. And it literally starts to digest itself out. But it's in that caterpillar magical secret ingredients reside for its transformation into the butterfly. So it's really that we need to allow ourselves to dissolve so that we can then transform, because we need to let go of all of the illusions that are holding us stuck where we are. It's really an opportunity for you to step out of the past. So I'd like to start by giving you a question. If you're currently struggling with the process of solitude and creating a space within yourself or isolation, I'm just going to ask you to reflect on the question of what about that space scares you or stops you? I know that we have been so conditioned to always be connected, to always be doing things. We have this whole FOMO thing. We've got fear of missing out on things. But ultimately, the goal of this human experience and soul journey is to be self-focused. And when we can go into this space within ourselves and really witness ourselves, be with ourselves, like grow self-compassion and self-acceptance, and just build that relationship so we can remove the blocks that are standing between us and our true self, we're that much more able to step into new relationships, friendships that are really fulfilling and loving and healthy for us. But it takes us being able to sit with ourselves in the first instance. Another thing that I hear a lot in this situation is, yeah, I know, but knowing is not implementing. So I'm going to ask you, what stops you from implementing? What ideas or assumptions or expectations or fears do you currently have about just stepping back, slowing down, and taking some space for yourself? Because it's not possible to move forward into a new space and to step into who you really want to be if you're going to carry the energy of the person that you were. And our energy is carrying all of the emotions and the unresolved traumas, not only from this lifetime, but from others. And when we step into this space of awakening or soul consciousness and recognize that we're on a much bigger journey, what it's asking us to do and what it's allowing us to do is to really face and see and learn the lessons from past lives and from this life. But without getting still, we can't really do it. We can't really understand what's my energy, what somebody else's, why do I feel the way that I do. It's almost akin to me saying, okay, we're going to have a session and I'm going to take you to central London and we're going to stand in the middle of Piccadilly Circus and then we're going to talk about all of your deepest, darkest issues and things that you're holding on to and things that have hurt you. That really doesn't work. So when you've got the noise around you all of the time, it's to really ask yourself, what am I avoiding? Why am I avoiding being with myself? Why am I afraid to meet myself in a space of stillness? And it may be that you're just not used to that. I know that I wasn't used to having that space. Nobody held that space for me. And sometimes we don't know how to hold that space. But if you think about it as I'm creating this container for me where I am going to feel safe, where I can trust that I'm held because I can learn how to hold myself and really see and let myself go. And if I need to unravel, I can. It's a space of non-judgment. So it's really about how and when do I actually feel safe? And this is the only way that we can really meet ourselves in the truth of who we are. It's when we remove ourselves from what other people tell us. So I'd like to give you an exercise to try for 30 days. And it's 5 minutes plus some reflection time. So you need to be in a space that is quiet, where there's not going to be any distractions or no one's just going to come along. And you need to maybe put your phone on silent or airplane mode, and you need a journal so that you can do your reflection afterwards. You are going to set a timer for 5 minutes and close your eyes, go within, connect to your breath, and just observe yourself like you're watching yourself maybe in a video on social media. You're going to be curious and just have an interest in what's going on. So you don't need to do anything other than just be there. Observe your thoughts, observe your feelings, observe any sensations that are going on in your body. Just observe spaces of resistance and any kind of struggle or fear that's coming up. And just be with it for 5 minutes. This is not a space of like judging yourself or doing anything different. It's just about being there, because that's how we kind of get used to connecting to ourselves and growing our awareness and growing that connection to ourselves. Once the 5 minutes are up, go straight to the journal and just reflect on what you noticed, what you observed, how you felt, what thoughts were coming in, and what you'd like to set as an intention for the next time you show up. And it's 5 minutes a day for 30 days. So make that commitment to yourself. And that's kind of taking a small step into it rather than going in gung-ho and creating this massive space, because that's another place where a lot of my clients go to. They kind of go full speed ahead and try to sit there all day in this quiet space, and it just feeds back into their belief that they're not good enough or that they're a failure. So this is really about stepping into it and experimenting with it, just seeing where the resistance is, seeing how solitude feels to you in the now, so that you can build this for you and what really works for you and doesn't work for you in that space. It's just about being curious, because this is how we step into who we wish to be. And you can feed back to me and you can let me know, keep me in the loop. It'd be lovely to hear your experience of it. So the rebirth of ourself can only happen when we allow ourselves to move through that process of being the caterpillar, from being where we were to stepping into the truth of who we are, the freedom of being authentically us. So it's only in that solitude where we start to realize that actually this belief that I hold over here, it's not really mine, or this story that I have had about myself, maybe it's not really my story. So it's a space of witnessing yourself. It's a space of really being able to deeply reflect without the input from outside. And when I say witnessing yourself, it's really about sitting with yourself and really kind of going, okay, so who am I? And how did I get to this space that I'm in now? And what's my story been as I look backwards? Because it's that story that gives you the clues to the lessons your soul is here to learn this time. And it's not a pressurized thing. For me, it's really about how can you bring compassion? How can you bring understanding? How can you create this space that is gentle and tender and sacred, and perhaps a space that you've never experienced, but you can see your child self? What would that child self need to actually feel safe enough to open up fully? Because this is what it's leading to, you opening up fully, but being able to do that with yourself rather than having to do it with others. Because when you do it with yourself, you'll start to realize that all of the answers are really within you. And people spend so much time like reaching outside of themselves for answers and gathering so much information, but in that cocoon that you're really able to make sense of your journey, and it helps you to step out of the victim mode mentality. If you feel like you're stuck there, you're more able to see the cycles that you're going through. And ultimately, for me, the biggest thing is that it raises your awareness, and I feel like that's the most important step in any sort of journey of transformation and rebirth. Without the awareness of where I've been, why I was in that space, what kept me stuck there, and what my story has become, you can't really move forward. So see this space as something very, very special, and hold the boundary for it. For yourself, hold yourself accountable, but be careful of who you're inviting into that space, because often we just end up repeating the same cycles of allowing people to encroach on our sacredness. And this is your reminder that to get close to the love energy, the divine, the source, to connect to your guides, really the only way to do that is to get closer to you, is to take a step into you. And the only way that we can feel the energies that we're taking on from other people is to really feel into your energy first. So in this space of the cocoon, that people are really able to understand what their energy actually feels like. And then when you start to step into other spaces, you'll start to notice, oh, this isn't my energy, because this is not how my energy feels. or you'll step somewhere and it'll be like, well, this doesn't feel good to me. But it's only through being able to create that sanctuary for yourself in the first instance that you're able to unpick what feels good to me, what doesn't feel good to me, what sensations are mine and what doesn't belong to me. But if you're never separate from anybody, or if you never step away from the chaos, the noise, the madness of life, how do you ever understand what is yours and what you're actually feeling? So it's really skills that you gain when you start to take the time to be with yourself. And for me, it's really about not having a space in a physical space, but being able to create that safe space, that cocoon, that sanctuary in yourself. So I'm going to take you through a guided visualization and create an anchor so that you can feel that space within you. So no matter what chaos is then going on outside of you, you always know that actually my sanctuary, cocoon, my safe space, my space for transformation is always within me. It's not out there somewhere. So I'm going to invite you to just get comfortable wherever you are right now, and to just close your eyes and start to focus on your breathing. And we just don't have to change your breathing, but just observe it, just be with it. And wherever you are right now, if you can just ground your feet and just allow yourself to get connected and just breathe. You just feel the breath as it goes through your body, in and out. And allow yourself to feel into the sensations in your body. Just know that you are safe with yourself and you can trust yourself. And feel into that. Now I invite you to connect to your heart space. Just feel the rhythm of your heart. And as you do so, I'd like you to imagine you're in an open space, and in front of you, you can see a big door. Just take a moment to imagine what that door looks like, what it might be made of, as you slowly start to approach the door, walking towards it step by step. And when you get to the door, you're going to turn the doorknob and open the door. In front of you is your sacred space. You're going to step through the doorway and into your sacred space. It is a space of safety, love, comfort, and peace. You are completely safe in this space. So step forward and take it in. What do you see? What do you feel? What are the colors? Are there any smells? How do you feel as you step in to this sanctuary, the safety? Just allow yourself to explore the space and just take it in. Know that this is your space. You have total control of the space. You can let in anybody you want to. You can keep out anybody you wish to. You decide what you allow in and what you choose not to allow in to that space. Really take a moment to breathe space in, feel the feeling of safety, of being held, of love, of peace. And know that whenever you wish to go within, wherever you wish to cocoon, wherever you wish to be in that space of solitude, you can go within and find that space there. While you are in this space, we are going to create an anchor so that you can revisit this space any time you wish to. So I invite you to put your thumb and forefinger together. And we're just going to take a few deep breaths as we anchor ourselves into this space. Now you're going to affirm that you know that whenever you choose to put your thumb and forefinger together, it can take you back to the feeling of your sacred sanctuary. And you can come back into this feeling of love and safety and peace whenever you wish to. But for now, it is time to leave. So you're going to take one last look at your beautiful space. You're going to turn around and walk back to the door, walk through it and into the open space. You're going to reconnect the breath. Slowly reconnect to your body. The space that you are in. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. So you can use this to reconnect to your sacred space whenever you wish to. And this is a practice. This is not for you to be hard on yourself in any way, shape, or form. It takes time to build that connection with us, to feel safe enough and trust ourselves, to hold us when we're in that space. So allow yourself the grace, build up to it. It doesn't have to be at anybody else's pace. Just take it at your pace and start to get used to the idea of being with yourself. See it as building a relationship with somebody else. Without time together alone, you're never really going to get to know that person. You're never really going to be able to build trust or safety or feel into that relationship. And this journey of rebirth is really about being able to do that with yourself. So you can use this visualization as many times as you need to. But just remind yourself that the anchor is always there, because that space is really within you. Everything you need is already within you. So this journey is not about having to gather lots of things that are outside of you. It's like really know and affirm that everything I need is already in here. So what I need to do is plug in to connect and to go within me, so that I can go through this journey, raise my awareness, and give myself what I deserve. You owe it to yourself, beautiful soul, to come out of the illusion that you've lived in for so long, that's held you stuck, that's keeping you in a space of not feeling happy. And it's that knowing that actually I owe myself more and I deserve to be in this space, that will allow you to gently step into it. So another thing that I would like for you to try is to just go out in nature by yourself, somewhere quiet, and without headphones or anything like that, and just walk around. Connect to your breath and imagine that your feet are grounding into Mother Earth with every step that you take, and just connect to the trees, connect to the plants, connect to the animals, and be in that space of solitude, because ultimately, even in solitude, we're never alone. We have our team with us. We are forever connected to the universe, the love energy, the divine source, spirit, whatever it is for you. But to truly feel connected to the all, we have to be connected to the one, because without that connection, we do forever feel disconnected. But how can we know how to build that connection if you're not going to allow yourself that space and time to build that connection? So another thing that you can try on a daily basis is just to open your heart. A small practice in the morning. You can just, before you even get out of bed, or you can step outside and just imagine opening your heart to yourself and flooding that space with this glorious pink crystalline energy of love, and just allowing it to fill your entire body, so that you're connecting to yourself and you're opening your heart to yourself. You're opening your heart to receive from the universe. You're opening your heart to the journey that you are on. Because this is about reconnection. It's about being intentional, and it's about self-accountability, because loving ourselves is about holding ourselves accountable. So step into it every single day, purposefully, with an intention to hold an open heart to yourself, and just start observing yourself. So if you give yourself these moments of solitude, what then happens when you go into a space where there's lots of noise, where there's lots of people, where there's lots of chaos, and how in that space can you ground yourself enough so that you can go within and remind yourself, even for a moment, that's all it takes, that I've got everything I need within me, and the peace is in me, the sanctuary is within me. The process of rebirth is your process. We are born alone, we die alone. And so it's to remember that transformation can only happen when we decide to step into ourselves, to create a space where we can remove ourselves from the daily human experience and get connected to the universe and all that is. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to finish by saying, allow yourself to step into the most beautiful space there is, the space that you create with you.